The history of the Franciscan monastery. The Reform Order of Franciscans goes back to St. Francis of Assisi. It is one of the oldest mendicant orders. When Zittau was granted town rights in 1255, mendicant monasteries were an inherent part of the royal towns in Bohemia. Franciscan communities preferred to settle in towns, but they rejected owning property of any kind and lived from alms. The successful order grew rapidly in the first half of the 13th century in South Germany, and shortly afterwards it was represented in central Germany as well. Building began on Zittau Franciscan Monastery in around 1260 to 70. Mention is first made of it in 1283. At the time of the Hussite Wars in the 15th century, the Prague Cathedral chapter fled to Zittau and administered the Prague Archdiocese from the monastery for about 2 decades. The Reformation determined the monastery's decline, and about 10 years after the death of the last monk in 1554, the monastery was abolished. Some decades later, it was used for Lutheran services, and an extensive development of the grounds began in the second half of the 17th century. When St. John's Church in Zittau fell victim to a horrific town fire in 1757, the monastery church became the main town church for almost 80 years. From the 18th century onwards, various different rooms in the monastery were used for museum purposes. The Hefter building and the monastery courtyard were completely restored in 2002. Further renovation work will be completed by 2019. And the monastery church renovation was finished in 2017. The church aisle is now used by the museum as an exhibition area, and the Protestant church parish still uses the choir area for services. Zittau Franciscan Monastery is the best preserved mendicant monastery in Upper Lusatia.